Perfect. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to tell your viewers about Renforth, which trades on the CSE under the symbol RFR. It's important to note, or your viewers might be interested to know, that we're in the late stages of an OTCQB application. So with some luck, we'll be trading in the States within a couple of weeks. So I'm going to take the time you've given me today to tell you about Renforth. As you said, we are in Quebec and Ontario. We boast a very, very deep property portfolio within the company. I feel we have the right rocks at the current time. We are a gold resource company, and we've recently made a very exciting nickel VMS, zinc and copper VMS discovery that's district scale on one of our properties, which we will speak about shortly. In addition to that, we have another gold occurrence in Ontario. We have a copper silver discovery also in Quebec, and a property optioned out to O3 Mining. So we have the right rocks. I think we're at a good time to be in gold, and I think we're in a very good time to be in sustainable metals. We are in the perfect location. We're in the province of Quebec and Ontario, so there are no concerns about the rule of law. We have excellent logistics. You can drive to each of our properties, so you can't operate much more cheaply than we do. The drillers, for example, stay in their own beds at night, so it's a very cost-effective setup. Now, the timing, I'm not going to go into the discussions about what are the macro factors affecting the world and the metals markets today. I leave that to each of your viewers who have their own opinion. However, suffice to say, I think it's a great time to have sustainable metals and gold resources. I'm going to speak pretty much about our Parbec property. I believe you can see my cursor moving around. So this is our Parbec property right here, located on the Cadillac Break, right beside Canada's largest gold mine, the Canadian Malartic Mine. We're going to talk a bit about Ceramo, which is our sustainable metals discovery that, as you can see, is district scale. This is 215 square kilometers. I'll briefly touch on our Nixon Bartleman property, which is in Ontario. So it's over there. And I won't really talk about our Denain-Pershing property, which is over here and optioned out. Malartic West is the poor little stepsister right now. It's a copper silver discovery on surface. It gets one slide, but it needs more work. So here we are. We are right between Rouen and Val-d'Or. We are on the northern route of the Trans-Canada Highway. Is Highway 117, so it comes right down into Malartic. It also runs right across here. And we're on the Cadillac Break. The Cadillac Break is Canada's most prolific gold-bearing structure. It starts on the west side of Kirkland Lake, and it goes to the east side of Val-d'Or. So we're on the best real estate in the country for gold. We have 1.8 kilometers of it with Parbec. Parbec, as I said, is right beside the Canadian Malartic Mine. This is a super pit. The super pit is currently at its maximum depth of 400 meters, and it's approximately, actually, it'll be more than 4 kilometers long now. It's a giant open pit mine, mills 60,000 tons per day. Why am I telling you about our neighbor? Because our neighbor is going to pivot, and they're going to start mining underground from the Odyssey and their East Gouldie discoveries. These are both very deep. They require a lot of construction and time to get there. So while they're building that mine after they've exhausted their pit, they need to keep their mill running, and they are currently stockpiling their low-grade ore. They're currently drilling our immediately adjacent neighbor, the former East Amphi mine, on their property, which is on strike and absolutely joined to our Parbec open pit gold deposit. They're looking to East Amphi for feed while the mine shifts underground, and Parbec could easily, from an M&A perspective, slot into those plans. Currently, we do have a resource in place at Parbec. It was calculated in May 2020. It's 104,000 indicated ounces at a grade of 1.78, and it's 177,000 inferred ounces at 1.77 for almost 300,000 ounces actually in resource. That's exciting. It's an open pit engineered resource. We are currently drilling to extend, and you'll see later, to extend our deposit to deepen it. And the interesting thing we're doing is we're twinning some of the drill holes, because at Parbec, there's easily 60 holes drilled in the 1980s and the 1990s that are not in our resource statement. They were deemed historic, and we have to twin those holes in order to include things like 67.54 grams per ton over almost a meter, 3/4 of a meter, or things like just under 6 grams over 12.5 meters. We have numbers like this at Parbec, but we can't include them. We didn't include them in the open pit resource, so we're going to do some twinning with a drill that's going to arrive at Parbec very quickly and start turning. And that's exciting, because after we drill approximately 5,000 meters at Parbec through February into March, we will then rebuild our resource statement. Our resource model. We'll rebuild our geological model, and we'll send it to a resource geologist to do an update to our resource. That'll have a new resource at Parbec in probably June of, maybe May, otherwise June of this year. Parbec is interesting. It's much more than just the Cadillac Break. In addition to Canada's most prolific gold structure on the property and gold bearing, we have gold we discovered in the sediments. We also have gold in the volcanics to the north. So we've got a lot of different settings for gold on this property. In fact, every drill hole I've drilled on this property, which is now more than 40, has given us gold. We drilled right before Christmas 27 drill holes, and we've only press released the results for 5. So we have 22 drill holes. These in red is everything we drilled before Christmas, and we've only press released 100 to 104, and I can't see it on the map. But anyway, we still have all these other drill holes to press release. And the geologists were excited about all of them. The next one we're going to release is 105, and I can't wait to see those results. Here is our open pit model. The deepest point of the open pit's only 225 meters as compares to our 400-meter deep neighbor. 105 is going to be the deepest pierce point on the property in the Cadillac Break when we get those results. So it's quite exciting. We've done infill drilling. We've done some drilling under other results. In fact, the shape of the open pit is actually dictated by the presence of drill holes. It's not dictated by negative results. It's just dictated by where there's data. So lots of drilling we did there. We have more to do. This next program, we're going to do some twinning in the main area of the property, and we're also going to do some more step out and down dip extension drilling in the northwest, where we discovered the Cadillac Break is giving us some good widths. So it's going to be an exciting program. Stay tuned. Now, Parbec is, as I told you, an open pit gold resource, and Parbec is an important, and it's our flagship asset. But what's the very exciting story in Renforth right now is actually our Ceramo property. With Ceramo, we have more than 50 kilometers between these two orange dotted lines of intrusives, ultramafic and volcanic intrusives associated with highs in a geophysical survey. The blue dots are where this property was worked erratically historically, but we're the first people to ever put it together as one property and to look at it as a large-scale system, a district-scale system. We have the middle trend, which is mineralized in the west, and it's mineralized in the east. In the middle is a big question mark with no outcropping. We drilled a couple holes, and I call it drilling, but I should call it subsurface sampling because it was only 200 meters. We had 1 week we tried to do this program before winter closed in. So with the 200 meters we drilled, we made, I'm going to flip through my presentation, sorry, because I want to speak about Ceramo. It's very exciting. We were drilling, as I said, right here, and we made a discovery with these drill holes. We drilled and we got visible sulfides in core. This is a discovery. This is raw metal sulfide in core, and nobody expected it to be there. Conversations I have had with major companies in the area, they said to me, "Are you sure? How did you find that?" I said, "Well, of course I'm sure. It's in drill core, and we found it with a drill." So this is very much the story, and this is where Renforth is headed. You're going to hear me talk more about it. The assays are still pending. However, this setting has a precedent in Finland, the Outokumpu camp in Finland. It is a mixture of ultramafic nickel combined with a VMS that right now, with the data we have, is zinc rich and contains copper. But that, to be sure, is very limited data. So I expect this story to grow and become more fulsome as, after we're done drilling at Parbec, we're going to pivot to Ceramo. We're going to do our first robust drill program at Ceramo. We'll go on with Parbec, the resource recalculation as well, and the Ceramo drilling. But it's quite exciting. We're self-funded right now for the Parbec drilling and our Ceramo, our work on our district scale green metal discovery. But we will focus on this. You'll hear more. We're currently trying to put together the assays associated with the drilling we did, because it's a complex story. It's a unique setting, and it's very much an interesting discovery. Now, when we're done at Ceramo, we're going to drop briefly, as I told you, to our Ontario property, which is Nixon-Bartleman. It's perhaps 8 kilometers from the Timmins West and the Bell Creek mines owned by Pan American Silver. And it does host a significant high-profile target right here, where we have a gold bark anomaly coincident with a cross fault on the Destor Porcupine, which is another prolific gold structure, and we're sitting right on top of it. Now, very quickly, how are we going to pay for all of this? We have approximately $6.8 million in the treasury between cash and stock on hand. And the other thing we're doing, we're drilling this deposit. We're drilling this deposit to restate the resources I told you, at which point gold for us is going to serve the purpose gold has always served. It is money. We will most likely sell this asset, and we will then put those funds to use in exploration on our district scale discovery of sustainable metals without any dilution to shareholders in the foreseeable future. So it's quite an exciting position to be in. I think we're very much in the sector we need to be in with the sustainable metals. We do have the copper silver up here that we don't know much about, and we'll do a little bit of field work there as well. But I do ask you to stay tuned. Like I said, drilling imminently at Parbec, followed by a geological model rebuild and a resource restatement. In between that, drilling on our district scale discovery at Ceramo, followed by some field work at Nixon-Bartleman and a bit of field work at Malartic West. So we have a lot coming up between now and June. We're funded for all of it. No private placements on the horizon. If you're not an existing shareholder and you want to become a shareholder, you've got to look for us on the CSE under the symbol RFR. So Gilbert, I could go on forever, but I'm going to be cognizant of the time you've given me, and I think I'm at my limit, Gilbert.
Sure, Nicole. So thank you for sharing the story. So we've got a few questions addressing you. The first one coming from Wu. So probably you already answered. Maybe you can repeat with the more details here. What's your main focus here in 2021?
Our main focus is to reestablish our resource at Parbec. I'm very confident there's more gold on the property than is in the current resource statement. Once we reestablish that resource and we set that value, the funds we have on hand will be going to mainly focus on our exploration on our district scale sustainable metal discovery at Ceramo.
Sure. This one coming from Alan. What's your exit strategy?
My exit strategy is it's changed actually, Alan. Used to be Parbec was the end of the story, but we went and we made a discovery, a big discovery, an unexpected discovery. Nobody in the area. It's brownfield, and like the previous presentation noted, everyone thought they knew everything about the area we're in, but we're in the very underexplored Pontiac Sediments part of the camp. And my exit strategy is now going to be to develop that asset to the point where an end user or another mining company that deals in VMS wants it. There's a lot of people out there interested in nickel and VMS, far more than there is in gold, in fact. So a takeover, Alan, my personal strategy, I'm a very large shareholder. It is everything I have, and my strategy is to exit via a takeover.
Sure. And this one from Shan, have you time to thought about potential just listing on the TSX Venture, or you stick with CSE here?
No, I'll stay on the CSE, and we are listed in Frankfurt. We do have a funny gray sheets or something listing in the States, which we are in the process of upgrading to an OTCQB. But I have no interest in migrating to the TMX group exchanges. They get very expensive, and they start taking a lot of time to administer those listings. And I just don't see the value it delivers to shareholders. We're RSP eligible, we're RESP eligible, we're fully transferable. We can do everything we have to do for shareholders listed where we are, which is very cost-effective listings.
Good. Another question here. Your recent appointment from Dr. Franklin, what will he bring to the table?
Dr. Franklin is hard at work. Dr. Franklin is a world-renowned expert in VMS deposits. He was Canada's chief geoscientist with the Canadian Geological Survey for a period of time, and he's in the Canadian Mining Hall of Fame. He has our data. He's made a few pronunciations about it, and he's working with the geologists right now. So Dr. Franklin has ultimate oversight on our approach to Ceramo. He is credited with developing the best practices for VMS exploration. So he's definitely the person we want overseeing our team. And in fact, he's in fact been involved in the Outokumpu story as well. So he's very experienced, and his oversight and his advice is invaluable.
Sure. So take one more question here from Lana. How important has it been to build relationships with the local First Nation communities?
We're in the very, very, very edge of First Nation area as identified by the Quebec government, and we do regularly hire that First Nation actually to utilize the capacity that they have in-house, which tends to be when they have people available or when they have equipment available, they'll actually work on the projects for us. So that's the relationship we have in place right now, and it's quite good.
Great. I think that's it here for most of the questions here. Thank you for your time with us, Nicole, to give us a good overview with Renforth.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure, and you can always visit the website, renforthresources.com, for more information, or I do a lot on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.